Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining. Sunil here. Can you hear me? Please confirm in the chat box. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for your responses. Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you. Let's stop the chat. So what's our plan? We already have experienced command line interface. Okay. We already have experienced command line interface. We have learned how to connect to AWS account from the command line. We are in a position to search for the right command, look at the syntax and write a command to perform activity, whatever you want. And now in this session, I will be experiencing AWS CLI from Linux machine. Last session, I have used from the Windows machine. I have installed the AWS CLI tool on a personal app, isn't it? So I want to experience with Linux, and then we'll be introducing. We have not discussed about the concept of roles. We'll be discussing about the concept of IAM roles in our today's session. So that's our agenda for today's session. So before getting into the practicals, as usual, Mohit Sharma again.
Hello.
Yes, Mohit.
So my question is, when we were creating the child users in IAM, so there was something like permission boundary not set. So what is that?
I'll tell you. Okay, in the coming classes you'll understand.
Okay.
Okay, Mohit. Okay. Clear about IAM user concepts of groups, users, privileges, permissions, isn't it? And the need for identity and access management. I hope it is everything clear.
Yes.
Thank you. Sandhya Avid.
Hello, Sunil.
Yeah, Sandhya. Good evening.
Good evening. Actually, I'm from Pune and I'm working with Azure technology.
Very good.
But not in depth.
Okay.
So that's why I switched to AWS and also I joined your DevOps class as well.
Okay.
So I don't have any technical question in this. I just wanted to some like I was confused like I have to go with AWS DevOps or Azure DevOps. So that's my question.
If you learn DevOps on AWS, you can implement the same tools on Azure also. Okay.
But
the behavior of the tool does not change whether it is on AWS or Azure. Okay.
Okay, but how I can my experience convert into the AWS?
You want to finally get into Azure DevOps, right? Okay.
Yes.
So option one, you can go for an Azure DevOps training, core Azure DevOps. Like we are training on AWS DevOps.
Right.
We are not providing on Azure DevOps. If you plan for Azure DevOps, you have to go for Azure DevOps course. Okay. Or learn AWS DevOps course and learn by yourself how can we implement that on Azure. That's also simple. Okay.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
concepts like Jenkins, Git, Ansible does not make any difference. Docker, whether it is on AWS or Azure, the commands will remain the same. Okay. Okay. So only thing here we create EC2 machines, there we create virtual machines. That's it, Sandhya. Okay.
Okay. One last question actually. In this IAM, basically we have AD. So those are similar. Azure, I mean AWS AD and IAM users. So both are similar. Like we are assigning we are creating users, assigning permissions.
No, there are few differences. Okay, so both are not similar. Okay. Okay. Please read the documentation. Anil Kumar Bapati.
Hi, Sunil.
Yes.
Sunil, I have listening your classes from day one. I have completed EC2 and S3. The same I am going for Stephen Merrick also parallelly. But I see there are a lot of differences, Sunil. There are quizzes after each section in EC2. I was not able to answer not even a single question after listening.
You have to go through Stephen Merrick videos also. That's what I have recommended, isn't it? Okay.
Okay.
You have to complete my course and Stephen Merrick course. Both the courses you have to complete. Okay. That's from certificate. That's purely from certification point of view. This is from the interview point of view and job point of view. Okay.
I think there are some concepts which are not called elastic.
Yeah, that's the reason. That's the reason I have recommending you go for Stephen Merrick.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. We already have experience with command line interface. I want to discuss about CLI on Linux environment, and then I want to get into the concepts of roles. So let's enter into the notes. We already have discussed about AWS CLI in two ways. One quick notice, there was no session yesterday. There are many people who are pinging me saying that whether the session is there or not. Please follow the WhatsApp group to get the updates. This is the AWS cloud. So in two ways you can connect to AWS cloud and work with AWS. Is it one is the console access? That is from the browser where we log in using the email address and login password. The other one is command line access. So we already have from in our personal laptop. Do you remember in the last session we have installed a tool called AWS CLI tool for Windows, because our laptop is on Windows operating system. We have installed that tool using that from the command prompt we have connected from the Windows machine. I just want to show you AWS CLI from the Linux operating system. So if you want to, I want to show you from Linux. I don't have Linux here, is it? It is my Windows. So what I'll do, we'll create a Linux machine in the AWS, and then we will be experiencing AWS CLI from the Linux machine. So you know the keys, what are the keys you have required access key and secret access key. So using that we'll be connecting. Okay, so we already have learned how to create a bucket and all this. So I want to continue from here. Let's learn how does AWS CLI work on Linux. So let's create an EC2 machine of Linux. Okay, let's launch the EC2 machine and let's connect to that particular EC2 machine using the putty. Okay, so let's do first part. Let's have the Linux environment first. Let's log into AWS. Services, EC2. I don't want to work with existing instances. Let's go ahead and create a new Linux machine. That can be done in no time. Go with Amazon Linux. Sorry. Okay, I'm opening SSH port. I want to name the security group. You know the importance. Click on launch. Your instance configuration is not eligible for free trial. In the launch configuration, please make sure check the AMI selection. Sorry. This is free trial eligible. Okay. T2 micro. That's what I have not selected. That's fine. Launch, create a new key pair. In my desktop, we have AWS 81 batch. Launch instance. View instances. Let's name this as Linux. Let's wait for the machine to get started. Desktop AWS batch 81. I need to convert this CLI kpem file to ppk file because I want to convert. I want to connect using putty, so I will be using a tool called as puttygen. You know it. load all files, temp file, save private key, it's not PEM file, I'm converting to PPK file. I have converted PEM file to PPK file. Now I can connect using putty. By the time machine is in running state, very good. I want to look at only the running machines. That one machine is running, click on connect. User at DNS. Under SSH, under authentication. PPK file. Are you sure you want to connect? Yes, you have connected. Let's increase the font size for better visibility. Done. Okay. Created a Linux machine. In the last session, we have experienced CLI from Windows laptop. Now I'm experiencing CLI from the Linux machine. If it is Windows environment, do you remember what did we do? We have installed a special tool in our personal laptop to experience the CLI. We have installed a special tool, AWS CLI for Windows. I have downloaded that MSI file. I have installed the tool, AWS CLI tool for Windows. So do you think, should we install AWS CLI for Linux? Do you think we should install AWS CLI for Linux? It's not required because this is an EC2 machine. This is AWS EC2 machine, isn't it? By default, the tool will be already available for the EC2 machines. You don't need to again manually install it. These EC2 machines comes with the AWS CLI tool installed. Okay. So the point is, do we need to install CLI tool on Linux? All EC2 machines comes with AWS CLI tool already installed already. So you don't need to install AWS CLI again. Okay. So I will be switching to root user. Let's switch to root user. I will update the repository. It's always good. Fine. What is the command to configure? What is the command to connect? What is the command to connect to AWS account? The command is AWS configure. The AWS configure is the command. When you click on AWS configure, it will ask for access key ID, secret key ID, and provide the access key ID, provide the region you want to connect, and just press enter. So you will be connected to the CLI approach. So where are the keys? How to get the keys? For that, you have to use another service. Identity and access management. My access key. Manage security credentials. Access keys. I'm pausing the screen because these are very important. So I want to deactivate this. I want to create a new key. The new key is created. I am pausing the screen because these are very, very confidential. So the command is AWS configure. It is asking for the access key ID. I am providing the access key ID. It is asking for the secret access key. So I am providing the secret access key. And then it is asking for the default region name which you want to connect. I am connecting to AP South -1. Output format. Just press enter. That's it. You are connected. My dear friends, 1 minute, please. I'm resuming screen share. I have provided the access key ID and I have provided the secret key ID. Now I have connected to AWS CLI. I have provided AWS CLI. Now I want to create a user. I want to create a user. You all know how to create a user. AWS IAM followed with -create -group, which helps you to create a group. Isn't it? We already have seen these commands. I'm moving on. AWS IAM is a command, and then the create -group is a command, and this is syntax -, group. This is the name of the group DevOps, which helps you to create a DevOps group. So when I run this command helps you to create a group in identity and access management. Yes, group has been created. If you want to confirm, go to dashboard, go to user groups. See, you have created just a group, DevOps. Group has been created. So whatever you are able to see right from the command line, it is reflecting in the console. I want to create a user with the name Raj. Before creating a user, I just want to confirm right now, are there any users? Right now, there's only one user, Scott. There is only one user called Scott. Now I want to create one more user called Raj. Can I do that? Yes, you can do that. You can see IAM, AWS IAM, create -user, -user, -name, and then mention the username. So when we run this command, the user gets created in the IAM service. That's what we have experienced. Now you can see the user here. Let's refresh. User has been created. The name of the user is Raj. Okay, so this is important. Fine. Let's move on for the concept of roles. Try to understand the concept of roles. Now I am in the Linux machine. Now I am in the Linux machine. From this Linux machine, I'm running a command which helps you to create an IAM user. I'm running a command which helps you to create an IAM group. I'm running a command using which I can create a bucket. I can run a command to create a VPC. I can run a command to create whatever I want, whatever the infrastructure I want, I can run it by using the commands. There is no restriction for this particular EC2 machine. There's no restriction for this EC2 machine. How do you restrict this particular EC2 machine, this particular Linux machine, so that it is not having full access? How do you restrict this particular Linux machine so that it is not having full access to whatever the service whatever the commands it gets executed? Policies is used to have restricted access. You remember we have attached policies easy to full access, but the point is you are attaching policies to the user. You are attaching policies to the user. You have created a user called Kiran. You have created a user called Raj. When Raj logs in, he's having only access to one particular EC2 service. When some other user logs in, he's having access to S3 service. When he tries to access other service, you're getting a message saying that unable to unauthorized access. You are using policies. You are restricting a specific user. But here in this session, did I create any user? No. I've connected to EC2 machine. And you want this particular EC2 machine to have restricted access to AWS CLI. That is possible by using the concept of roles. That is possible by using the concept of roles. First point. You'll understand once you get into practicals. Point number one, you need to keep in mind, roles are replacement of credentials. First point. Roles are replacement of credentials. First step, I want to create a role. First step, I want to create a role. Look at this. Little bit tricky, but you can easily understand it. I want to create a role. Let's say this is a role. You can visualize like this. A role will have two ends. A role will have two ends. Okay, visualize like this. Source, I mention it as EC2. Role will have two ends. One end that is nothing but a source. I mention it as EC2. Destination, I mention it as S3 full access. I am creating a role. Source of the role is EC2. Destination is S3 full access. What is S3 full access? My dear friends, what is S3 full access? It's a policy. S3 full access, EC2 full access. These are our policies. We have learned it. We have attached these policies to the users. But now we are not attaching. We are creating a role. One end of the role I'm mentioning it as EC2. One more end of the role I'm mentioning it as a policy called S3 full access. First, let's create this part. Creating a role. How to create a role? Go to Identity and Access Management dashboard. You have groups. Groups are nothing but user groups, users, and here we have an option called roles. Don't worry about all the existing roles. There are 25 roles. Don't worry about the roles, existing roles. Go ahead and create a new role. What you're doing, you're creating a new role. Yes. Select the use case is nothing but source. Can be EC2, can be other services like Lambda also. To this example and specific to EC2. I've selected the source. Next. Destination, the other end. The other end is what? S3 full access. You have to attach the policy. Source, I already have selected EC2. Now I'm attaching S3 full access as the policy. Next. Tags are optional. Next. What's the name of the role you want to create? Role name can be anything. Role 1, role 2, role 5, role 100. Name of the role can be anything. Okay. I'm naming it as a role with today's date. This is the name of the role. Role name can be anything. That's not a great deal. So this is the role name, role 18. So I'm naming it as role 18. And for this role, what is the policy I'm attaching? S3 full access. And trusted entity is nothing but EC2. That's nothing but a source. Create role. Role has been successfully created. What is the name of the role? Role has been successfully created. What is the name of the role? The name of the role is role 18. The name of the role is where can you see the role? You can see it's such when you search for the role here. You can see the name of the role. Source is trusted entity is nothing but the source EC2, and the policy what I have attached is S3 full access. Now the role is created. Point number 1. This is first point. Next, Sunil, how to use this role? What is the benefit of this role? Why did you create this role? All this you'll understand. Role is ready. Source is nothing but EC2, that is trusted entity, and the policy what I have attached to S3 full access. Now, as the role source is EC2, we need to attach it to EC2 machine. We have to attach it to EC2 machine. As a source is EC2, we have to attach it to EC2 machine. We have created Linux machine now, right? To that Linux machine, I'm attaching. Where is the EC2 dashboard? This is a machine, right? Now I want to attach that role to this particular machine, EC2 machine. How do you attach the role to this EC2 machine? Select the machine. Launch EC2 machine, attach the role. How to attach the role to this EC2 machine? Actions. Under security, modify IAM role. I am in the EC2 machine. Go to security option, modify IAM role. What is the role name you have created? What is the role name you have created? Role 18. Attach that role 18. This is the role 18. You are attaching the role to what? You are attaching the role to the EC2 machine. Save. Successfully attached the role to the instance. Okay, we have attached the role to the instance. We have attached the role to the instance. And this role is having what policy? S3 full access. So if I try to run this command AWS S3 ls, if I write this command AWS S3 ls, it will show you list of all the buckets. Do we have buckets or not? I'm not sure, but if you have the buckets, you get the list of all the buckets. I think there are buckets, yes. Bucket 4, 5, 6, 7, you are able to see list of all the buckets. S3 related commands, you will run it, no doubt, because the role is allowing S3 full access. So S3 related CLI commands, you can run it. If you try to run CLI commands related to some other service, you are not allowed to do that. For example, I want to create a user, IAM user with the name Amit. This is the command. Now tell me, can I create an IAM user? You cannot create it because this particular EC2 machine is having a role. That role is having S3 full access. So using this EC2 machine, you can only run S3 related commands. If you try to run AWS IAM related commands, it will take some time, probably. It will take some time for the role to get updated. You should get access denied. Let's wait for the AWS role to get activated. It's getting still creating. Let's wait for the IAM role to be created. Probably I'll disconnect and connect to get the role into action. User DNS, SSH, authentication. Appearance. S3 you were able to see working. IAM user, you should not able to get it. Username, I write it as ABCD. Okay. Still taking time to get activated. It should not happen technically. These many number of users got created. From the backend. What's there? What could be the problem? Why the users are not? See, users are not getting reflected. It should not be the case, right? It's getting reflected. Little slow. It should not be reflected. We should get an error. We should get an error when we attach. We'll do one thing. Should not take this much time. Okay. I will be creating altogether a new EC2 machine. Give me 1 minute. Launch instances. Amazon Linux. Next, in step 3, here we have an option of IAM role. Here also you can attach the role. What is the name of the role you have created? Role 18. Okay, so what I have done, I have added role to the existing machine. It will take some time to get reflected. So that is the reason I'm creating a new EC2 machine. The process of creating a EC2 machine, at the process of creating the EC2 machine, I'm attaching the role. Okay. Next. Review and launch. Click on. Oh my God. I've not selected S. By default, it used to be selected. Now we have to select it manually. T2 micro. Next. I want to continue with T2 micro instances. Coming to the role, I want to add the role. Role is already selected. Role 18. Next. Security group. Okay. Click on review and launch. Click on launch. Create a new key pair. AWS CLI 2. Download the key pair. In my desktop AWS batch. Okay. I'm downloading the key pair. Launch instances. This is a new instance I'm creating, and this instance is already attached to the machine. And I want to look at only the running instances. This is a machine 2 which I have created. I want to connect to this particular machine, so I want to convert the PEM file to PPK file. Let's do that in no time. Putty gen load. All files. PEM file. Save private key. PPK file. Converted PEM file to PPK file. Now I open Putty. This is the second mission. Connect. User DNS. Under SSH. Under authentication. Pick up the PPK file. Connected. Now, this Linux machine already the role has been attached. So you should able to see list of all the buckets. No doubt. If you able to create a user, it should get an error. Username, I write it as access denied. It is allowing you for the previous Linux machine because the Linux machine is already there. We are attaching the role to the EC2 machine. Once you attach a role to the EC2 machine, it will take some time to get reflected. So instead of waiting, what I have done, I have created a new machine and I have attached the role to the EC2 machine. Now this machine will have access. This particular machine will have attached role. So as the role is S3 full access, this particular machine can only deal with S3 commands. But if you try to deal with some other services commands, it is giving you an error. The meaning of role, the concept of role is roles is helping you to restrict EC2 machines to specific set of services from the CLI approach. If you don't want that particular Linux machine to have all the access, you want that particular machine to have limited permissions. In such case, what we do, we create a role, we attach the role to the EC2 access. Okay. Next. Let's say I will add one more policy, IAM full access. Can I edit the policy? Can I add one more policy to the existing role? You can do that. Go to the roles. What's the name of the role you have created? Role 18. Select the role. Attach policies. Already SC full access policy is already attached. I'm attaching new policy, IAM full access. Attach policy. Done. Policy has been attached. Let me confirm. The name of the role is role 18. This role 18 now should have two policies. Yes, as expected, it is having S3 policy, the new one IAM. As I have attached the new policy, now the previous command which was failed, the same command I'm running now, as I have added policy at the role level, now it should allow the EC2 machine to run IAM related commands. Yes, previously you're getting the error occurred, now you're getting successful. So roles is generally to restrict the EC2 machines. Generally, if you want to restrict a specific EC2 machines to limited number of services from the command line, in such case, we go for using the concept of roles. Okay, perfect. Next. You can detach a role from the EC2 machine. If you want, you can detach a role from the EC2 machine. How do you detach it? So you want to detach a role completely. You want to detach a role from the EC2 machine, right? So if you want to detach a role, so there's an option. Go to instance, as I have shown you. This is the machine. Instance, actions, security, modify IAM role. I have the role already attached. There's a concept of no IAM role. I am removing that role. Click on save. Done. Role has been detached. So if the role has been detached, perfect. Now there's no restriction, but you have to provide the credentials. The moment a role is not there, you have to connect manually by using the command called AWS configure. If you write a command, okay, to create a user, it is showing you unable to locate the credentials. First, you have to enter the credentials. How do you enter the credentials? By using the command called AWS configure. You need to enter the credentials. Once you have entered the credentials by access key ID, secret key ID, then you can have access to the IAM command, CLI commands. You can run any CLI command. That's okay. So if you attach a role, credentials are not required, my dear friends. Are you understanding? Roles are, that's the reason I have started this statement. I have started this concept called roles are replacements of credentials. That means when you connect a role to the EC2 machine, this EC2 machine does not need that access key and secret key ID. You don't need required. Directly roles are attached. That means you're giving permission to access and to limited roles, to limited services. If you detach a role, obviously, again, you need to provide the credentials. You need to have the credentials. Once you have the credentials, so you can have full access to all the services. So generally, roles are mainly purpose of the roles is to restrict a trusted entity. You trust a EC2 machine. You want to provide access to the EC2 machine to all the services, not a user to specific EC2 machine, but you want to have restricted access to that particular EC2 machine. So what you can do, you can create a role, and whatever the policies you want to provide, attach those policies and attach that policy to that particular, attach the role to the EC2 machine. So that's the concept of roles. Little bit confusing, but revise this. This will be pretty simple. So deletion process is very, very important. Delete the root access keys. I can do it after the end of the session because it is okay. I can delete it right away. These are very critical. Last time I had bad experiences. Participants used my keys and misused it. Let me delete the keys right away. If you don't want CLI approach of your account, you can delete. First deactivate it and delete it. Similarly, when you don't delete the root access keys, there is only one approach called console access. There's no second approach. Delete the root access keys. Delete all the groups, whatever you have created for practicing purpose. Delete all users, whatever you have created. Delete IAM role which you have created. The name of the role is role 18. Delete the buckets which you have created from the AWS CLI. I think I have created the buckets in the last session. Bucket should be empty. First empty the bucket. Then delete the bucket. Next, delete the bucket. That's it. Delete it. Delete EC2 machines which you have created. Remember to avoid the bill, whatever we have created, please delete it. In fact, number of users, it's not billable, but still it's good practice to delete. This got disconnected. The putty gets inactive because the machine itself is terminating. Okay. So IAM, Identity and Access Management, is all about providing restricted access to AWS services. Once you join in an organization, you will be provided IAM user details, and you will be restricted to only limited number of services. Let's say you are restricted to only EC2, you're restricted to VPC service, or you're restricted to S3 service. You're restricted to Route 53 as per the client requirement. They will restrict the particular resource to specific service so that security is maintained, so they will not misuse. Clear about this? Okay. With this, we have completed identity and access management. Identity and access management is all about creating users, creating groups, understanding the policies, understanding the roles. These are the 4 concepts, and how exactly we can connect using AWS CLI, using the access keys and the secret keys. Abdul Matin. I can see your hand raised, Abdul.
Hello.
Hi, Abdul.
Hello, sir. Hi, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, Abdul. How are you doing?
Hello. My voice is coming, sir.
Your voice is clear. Today's session is a little bit confusing, right, Abdul? What
No,
do you
sir.
think?
No.
It's clear?
No, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It's
Yes, your
clear.
question.
But
Revise the
sir,
recording.
my question is the CLI command line. What is use of CLI in real life, sir?
Okay. It's
If
not
we have
use, in
control.
fact. No. It's not the use more than use. We already have discussed this one more time, or I've already discussed this in the previous session. Let's say, Abdul, you want to create 100 buckets. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So in case of console access, what you do? You go to services, isn't it?
One by one, I will do.
You will be selecting S3. You'll be creating bucket and then select the bucket name, acknowledge the settings, go ahead and create a bucket. Then it will be one bucket will be created. Okay. You have to repeat 100 times, isn't it, Abdul? Okay. It's a tedious job.
Yes.
Whereas there is one single command which helps you to create a bucket.
One single command can do
Which
this.
helps you. Where is the command to create a bucket? I think MB is a command which helps you to create a bucket. We have seen that in the last session. This is the command. Okay. AWS S3,
Yes,
and here you have to, if you have run this and copy this 100 lines and then change the bucket names. 100 commands are ready. All the 100 commands, if you run it, which will be faster? Matin?
Yes, sir. Yes,
which
sir.
will
Yes,
be faster?
100% faster.
Commands are more
Yes,
faster,
sir, yes.
isn't it? So when the volumes are more, sometimes preferred commands. There are two approaches. It's not which one is benefit, which one is advantage, which one disadvantage. Second case, there are some cases where clients does not want console access to be provided to the AWS team also. For security reasons, whatever they want to do it, they want to use it from the command line. So security reasons is one reason. Okay. And there are some people from Linux administrator background, they feel console access is more comfortable. Okay. So if you're comfortable with console access, you feel comfortable. This is more better way. So it's not advantage or disadvantage. These are the two approaches AWS provides. The CLI access as well as the console access, whichever you feel comfortable. In the interview, they ask you about CLI, you should be in a position to answer something, right, Matin? So that's the importance of CLI.
Okay. One more question, sir.
Yes.
Please. I'm not from Linux background. I'm learning. Now, which OS I should install, sir? I installed CentOS.
For what you want to install?
On PC, sir. To
Why do
practice
you,
the Linux, sir. I don't know.
You want
Linux,
to practice line? You're talking from DevOps perspective, Matin?
Yes. I'm
If you want to practice Linux command, create a Linux machine and easy to connect to that Linux machine and practice. What is there in it?
Not need a desktop machine.
No, not required. Whatever you want, create your environment on AWS. You know how to create EC2 machine, Linux machine, like we are doing it today, Matin. You know how to connect using Putty or Git Bash, and then you can practice Linux. What's there? You don't need to install Linux on your personal Windows machine. Not required. And whenever you want, you stop the machine and terminate the machine. That's it. Okay. You have to be habituated to the cloud. Okay. Yes.
Yes, sir.
On demand. Yes. Anything more, Abdul?
Yes, sir. Yes. Hello.
Yeah. Thank you, Abdul. Yeah.
Okay.
Gokul Kumar.
Hello. Hi, Sunil.
Hi, Gokul.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. Finally, I got a chance to speak with you.
Thank you, Gokul. Thank you very much.
Yeah. First of all, thanks for your session. I think it's very clear. So I'm also following Steve's Udemy channel also. So
Which Udemy channel?
The Udemy channel which you.
Okay, which I have Logic Labs Udemy channel. Okay.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So both I've been following. So it's really easy to learn the AWS because I'm from the networking and security background.
Okay. You want to get into AWS and DevOps, Gokul?
Yes, not into DevOps, but
you
I
want
to learn
AWS.
Yeah. Yes.
And Gokul, from tomorrow we are learning VPC. Okay. The most important service in the course. The most important service when you go to interview, they will ask about most definitely 50% they'll ask you on one service called as VPC, virtual private cloud, and this is my strength. Okay, so you will get the best of the VPC components with clarity from tomorrow. Okay, focus on this. This is all about
actually, I'm really eager to further session because most of
I
my
hope you have
friends are
heard
using
about VPC.
Yes, yeah.
So you'll be coming
So
across
they've been
terms
using
called private subnet, public subnet, NAT gateway, NACL, okay, and then Bastion server, GEM server. So all these are very, very important. Subnet mask. So all these components are very, very important. All this will be discussing in detail in VPC. Okay, the coming classes are very, very important. Next 4 classes are very important. Yes.
Sure. I have a couple of doubts here.
Yeah, tell me.
So actually, I've been practicing this IAM services and this other services also. Can we integrate any active controller, active directories into the with IAM?
You can do that.
Active directories.
Yeah, you can do that. No problem. Okay. You have to. If time permits, I'll show you.
Oh, okay, sure. And regarding the S3, can we use the S3 buckets? Can we use it as any log storage or FTP?
You can do that. You can do that. Yes. So there's a service called Lambda. So whenever an application generates a particular log file, automatically the log file should be stored in the S3 bucket. Okay. So that's all triggering happens using the Lambda service. Okay. So explore more about Lambda. You'll understand how can you do that.
Okay, sure. Because I've been thinking about firewall logs to be storing in the S3 package.
Can be possible.
So
especially people running application servers on AWS instances, they want a archival process, isn't it? Gokul, whenever the files have been generated, logs have been generated as part of their usage reports, isn't it, Gokul? All that files should be stored somewhere in the storage location.
Yes.
Isn't it? Technically, that's what clients expect. So you can relate that using the Lambda service.
Okay, got it. Okay. Thanks, Sunil. Thanks for your session.
Thank you very much. Kartikeya Koduru.
Hi, Sunil.
Yes.
Thank you so much for giving chance.
Thank you.
So, Sunil, my question is, you have selected IAM modify role by selecting the drop downs in the action, right? By selecting the instance.
You're talking about when I'm creating a new EC2 mission?
No. You have given a restricted IAM role, right? To the machine 2 when we created today.
I have attached the role to the EC2 machine. Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So can we do that by directly while creating the instance?
That's what, when I have created second instance, what did I do? In the step 3, I have attached the role, Kartikeya.
Okay.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember.
The second instance, what did I do in the step 3? Okay.
Yeah.
T2 micro. Next. Here,
I've given the
I have attached the role. So
role 18
directly. Yeah, now role 18 is not there because I have deleted.
Yeah.
Okay, here you have attached. I think you're talking about how to attach it, is it?
Correct.
Yeah.
So we can attach from here and also from the actions drop
This is when you will attach it when you're at the time of creation process. You want to attach the role, you do it here. Okay. After the instance is created, you want to attach the role, we do it from action settings. And the security, there's an option called change IAM role. Okay.
All right. So I have one other question, Sunil. So when you create EC2 instance on this today we have created, right, with a restricted access with a role. You created a new machine. So when
we have created a new machine, we have attached the role to the machine.
Correct. So when a IAM user tries to access, the command was not running, and we got the access denied error. So let's say if any other service user is being trying to add access any command.
First point, Kartikeya.
Yeah.
This role is attached to which instance? EC2 instance.
Okay? EC2. Yeah.
Who can connect to EC2 instance? A IAM user.
IAM user.
Who is having access to? EC2 full access, can connect.
Correct.
Agree?
Yeah.
Agree or not?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Once he gets connected, he can misuse. He can open the command prompt. Okay.
Yeah.
Using the AWS configure, he can connect to CLI. Even though he's having IAM user having EC2 full access, but he can create S3 buckets from the console.
Yeah.
Agree?
Yeah.
There's no security. There's a security breach.
Correct.
What you want, some user, okay, I am a user, Sunil. You want me only to access EC2. Okay, so you have created my username. You have provided my details. I have logged in. I have created a new EC2 machine using AWS configure. I have, let's say you are providing me access key and secret key root. You can do that and I can misuse it. Agree? From
Correct.
this EC2 machine.
Yeah.
From this EC2 machine, you want to restrict it. So what you have to do, Karthikeya? Okay.
We
You
need
have to
to add
create
the
a role.
policy. Yeah.
Attach policies to the role and add role to the EC2 machine. Okay.
Okay.
In fact, we can have 10 users connecting to EC2 machine, right?
Yes. Yes.
10 users can connect to EC2 machine, but you are restricting at the EC2 level. That means
Correct.
all the 10 users cannot have access. Got it?
Yeah. Understood.
Okay. Okay.
And
Karthikeya.
also one other question, Sunil, finally. So we have created a bucket yesterday's day before yesterday's class, right?
Yes. Yesterday there
From
was no
CLI machine.
day before yesterday we have created.
Yeah. From the CLI command. So while creating that, it automatically provided the access to the public directly. So what is the scenario where
what do you
if
mean by automatically providing access to public?
So when you create a bucket in the console, you will uncheck the permissions, and it will give you the access
Public
to
access.
the public access.
Public
And
access in the sense, whenever you upload a particular object, you will have access. You have an object URL. Using that object URL, anybody in the world can access that particular object URL.
Yeah. From the console, you will acknowledge in and you will save it, right?
Yes.
And from the CLI, when you
There's
create
a command. There's a command to.
Okay.
There's a command to everything. There is a command equivalent command.
Okay.
There's a command to create a bucket. There's a command to make it public. There's a command to make a bucket private. There's a command to enable versioning. There's a command to enable static website hosting. Okay. Everything there is an equivalent command. That's the reason I have mentioned there are thousands of commands. In AWS CLI. Whatever you can do it from the console access, you have a relevant command which helps you to do it from the CLI. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, Sunil. Thank you so much. Your classes are really understandable.
Thank you. How are you from which city?
I'm from Hyderabad, Sunil.
Okay. How do you happen to know about these classes?
One of my friend suggested me through the WhatsApp, and I joined this.
You have joined from day one?
Day one, yeah.
Okay. You're happy?
I'm really happy. I was scared that I would not be able to understand everything. So by listening to your classes,
you know AWS, or is it the first time?
No, this is the first time. I'm from global. Service desk field.
Okay.
So
before the session, you were completely zero in AWS.
Completely zero. I don't know anything.
Now
but yeah, I have the basic knowledge before learning. But now I have the confidence that I can learn many services.
Yes. Okay.
Listening to you.
Okay. So also attending DevOps?
No, Sunil, I'll plan it after
AWS.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to mess up.
One after the other you want to learn.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you, Sunil.
The next service is VPC, my dear friends. The tomorrow service is VPC. Next 4 sessions is on VPC. Every session is dependent on its previous session. Tomorrow is first session. Next session on VPC is dependent on the first session. The next 4 sessions are very, very interrelated topics, and VPC is the most important service in the course, and mostly asked questions in the interviews about VPC. VPC is all about providing security to the infrastructure. That is very, very critical. Clients are ready to pay the bill, but they want highest security for their infrastructure. AWS does not provide compromise on the security wherever possible. It always provides a layer of security, and VPC is very, very critical when you're providing. How do you make your client's infrastructure secure? All these questions: what is VPC? What do you know about VPC? What are the components of VPC? What is subnet? What is subnet mask? The next 4 sessions are very, very critical. Okay, so please do not miss the next 4 sessions. Thank you all. See you tomorrow. Bye everybody. Tomorrow we'll start with VPC. Thank you very much. Bye everybody.